Welcome in to We Talk Facts with 9-year NBA veteran and Nebraska basketball Hall of Famer Erick Strickland and two-time Nebraska football national champion Clester Johnson. Talking and taking names in sports and day-to-day living. Sit back, relax, and join the show with 9-year NBA vet and Nebraska basketball Hall of Famer Erick Strickland and two-time Nebraska football national champion Clester Johnson.
Well. Once again, it's on. Harrison is on the board. Strick here.
What's up, Harrison?
Doing great.
Yeah. You on the mic, big man.
Oh, yeah.
You my guy. Clester Johnson in the house. We Talk Facts once again on 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. That's where you can find us. Hit us up on our Twitter, estrick20 on, it ain't even Twitter, it's X. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I got them both up now.
And Cless, you can hit on Tresvant Street.
At Tresvant Street.
At Tresvant
Ain't
Street.
nothing sensitive about it.
Ain't nothing sensitive about it.
No.
Truly, it is another Tuesday, Taco Tuesday. If you're out there having tacos and margaritas, shout out, take a look, go to the app. You can go to theticketfm.com, get all 93.7 The Ticket FM content to include We Talk Facts right here every Tuesday, 8 to 9 is where you can find us. Sibo, how are you, man? How was your weekend? What's going on?
I was just laughing at my man Harrison because he was so professional with how he was feeling. He was like, "Hey, I'm doing so great."
Harrison truly has.
Harrison, let it go, baby. Like, yo, listen, I'm doing great.
I keep my roller coaster steady. I'm never too high, never too low.
He's got that voice. Harrison's got the perfect. I think my voice sucks. We talk facts. I think my voice is horrible online. People say it's very raspy. He's got the perfect radio.
So mature for such a young fella.
I hope so. If I can get into that audiobook business, that'd be something.
You could actually do. I don't know his name. Who does our Bob?
Yeah,
Bob the
he's
voice.
Good at that.
Bob the voice.
He's good at getting your blood pumping.
I like it.
Or you could do psychiatry, where you can put stuff on tapes where you're meditating. I can just see Harrison right now. Now you're sleeping. There's water dripping.
Right. Hey, lower you into that.
That's right.
Into the
abyss,
get out into the get out realm. That's what's going on. But no, what's going on here is it's that time. It's that week. I mean, football has already started, but it is here. The Huskers will be taking the field against Minnesota. We're also that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to get into that.
Yep.
Sutter Heyman text line is open to you as well. 402-464-5685. If you are listening by way of radio, is the Royals getting it in?
Yeah, we got Royals. So again,
that's all right. You won't be able to hear streaming only, but you can get us on X. You can get us on Facebook. You can get us on YouTube. You can get us on Twitch. And you can get us on those streams as well and hit us on the platform
Allo
there.
Channel 951.
Allo 951
That's
is
right,
also
that's
where
right.
we are. We are also on TV. But we're going to talk about this week in football. Some of the most prominent games that are going on this week. We're going to talk about them, kind of get your feeling, your thoughts, and throw it out there and see what some of the best games to put your eyes on. Sometimes what happens in these games, class, is you have situations where they're boring. Like the games are no nonsense games. It's games against like Timbuktu against against
like Louisiana Tech.
Well, they ain't gonna, so they'll mess around and clip somebody. But there are some good ones out there, so we're gonna get into it a little bit. Get your thoughts on what you think some of the best games are. I'm gonna throw out a few of them and see how you guys feel about it as well. But one of them is going to be an interesting one because you're talking about a team of finesse against a team of physicality. And that's Florida against Utah. That'll take place on Thursday on ESPN at 7 p.m. Central. The Utes coming in at 14th rank, and the Florida's really trying to respark the magic. How do you view that one, Clesson?
Well,
that could be a tough one.
Like you said, Utah, I want to say they won the Pac-12 last year. They smashed USC there at the end. They were very physical on the line of play. I want to say that is really what their characteristic is. They have these big Samoans on, especially on that D line, and
moving and shaking things.
I mean, they really made USC look, pedestrian. Can I use that word?
Yeah.
They made them look. They just made a USC
slow
team
crosswalk,
who we thought was getting back to prominence. They just kind of made them look, pretty bad. So I know Utah kind of reminds me of some of those old Husker teams. Because you remember back in, let me say, 96, January 96, there was a national championship game against the Huskers. I mean, we don't have to relive it all, but I just remember there was a smash. We just walked up and down the field on these guys
anytime we wanted to,
who was all finesse, right?
Listen, I got an inside story.
Okay.
Tim Grayman, shout out to Tim Grayman. Okay. Tim Grayman out there in Orlando,
what
Florida.
Up, Tim?
I'll see you soon, my boy. But listen, Tim Grayman he had transferred from the University of Nebraska. The reason he transferred is because he woke up one day, the snow was up and down the door, the entryway.
That'll do
so
it.
Where he couldn't get to class, and he was like, you know what, I'm tired of this cold. Let me go down there to Florida. So he transferred to Florida, and guess what? He was getting ate up because he knew he came from Nebraska. So they was like, them Huskers, they got me. We gonna do this to them. We gonna treat them like that. We gonna let them know what it really is. Blah blah blah. He heard that the whole time. He's like, okay, all right. He took it. Boy, he said they came back after they played y'all class. They was in boots. They was in arm braces. They felt the pain. And I'm talking about the house of pain. Jump around. So y'all did it to him. Like, why y'all do him like that?
Well, I mean, it had to be done. It had to be done. We were tired of the disrespect and getting stepped on and talked about, like, we can't play ball here in the Midwest. And we just, just politely let them know who we were. But so again, back on this Utah-Florida game, it's going to be very interesting to see this team of finesse, kind of the fun and gunny type of play versus a more Midwestern Utah team. They're not. What do you consider Utah?
Mountain region,
but a little colder. Their focus is being a little
Provo?
bit more physical.
No, that's BYU.
Where's Utah located?
No, they're in Salt Lake.
Salt Lake?
Yeah, I think Utah's in Salt Lake.
You guys are confusing me here.
Provo is where BYU.
Okay. Yeah. Salt Lake, Utah?
I think they're in Salt Lake, bro.
I just haven't been in that region. But I just want to read a little bit, about what Athlon said about the game. It says, every year in college football, there is a handful of early season results that make no sense by the end of the year. Florida 26-20. They picked Florida 26-29 over the Utes. So no, they beat the Utes last year 29-26. And they said this will qualify. So typically you don't see these kind of teams playing each other, especially this early. So it's going to be very interesting. But I like the fact that teams are willing to step over the line and do these early games
these good tests,
because it may not hurt. It can help you in the long run, right?
Yeah.
You got time to recover.
Yeah, you got plenty of time to recover. That is one of the things that an early loss doesn't necessarily doom you,
right?
Especially in the non-con.
How about this one? You want to address that one?
That's the one I was going to go to next, actually.
Okay.
One of the other ones that's going to be very interesting, very intriguing.
Very intriguing.
It's a Pac-12 versus Big 12. And that is Colorado Buffaloes. And that is the inaugural season of the Deion Sanders primetime era there at Colorado before they make the move to the Big 12. So this is a prelude of what they're going to see on the regular.
The most interesting hire, I believe that. The most interesting hire in the last 20 years.
Well, tell us why we talk facts on that.
Well, I mean, just think about it. You got media asking other coaches about a coach. You haven't really seen that happen a lot lately. And it hasn't been positive, right? Because we've really been able to see the use of the portal. This guy, Coach Sanders, have brought in 68 new players.
That's crazy. That is absolutely crazy. That's what's intriguing.
Quite a few of them 4 and some 5 stars. So that being said, I really feel like they're going to be ahead of the curve, and I really think they're going to make some noise. I think it's going to be a lot better than what we anticipate.
Well, what I say is, I say this. This is a great early test for a few reasons. One, Shedeur Sanders is a phenomenal quarterback, and especially accuracy. As long as the line can hold up, I think they have pretty good receivers to be able to create space to allow his accuracy and his movement. He actually worked out with Tom Brady, to help him with foot movement and doing things and getting his similar to Aaron Rodgers. One of the things that Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers have that some people don't is the quick release. Like there's like 3 seconds, under 3 seconds, that thing is out. And so they are very good at doing that. He was teaching them how to get his release point, and that way it's the accuracy. It's the same thing that they taught us in basketball. More range, more movement in your shot creates inaccuracy sometimes, because sometimes you're jumping before you're ready to shoot. Sometimes you're on the way down. That means you're short. So they taught us how to get it to the shot pocket quickly to be able to release it. So
let me take it back to this football game though. So you got a 1-11 Colorado team from last year. Playing against TCU, who was the national runner-up. See, people forget about that. TCU was in the national championship game.
That's why I'm surprised you're thinking they're going to come back here.
They actually beat
and
Michigan.
Quarterback's coming back too. Yeah,
they beat
TCU.
No, he's gone.
No, he's gone.
Duggan's gone.
He's gone. Yeah. He's gone.
Oh, I thought he might have had one more.
He's gone. But that's what's going to make this team very interesting, because
that's right. He showed up bad. He showed up bad in the combine. That's what happened. He fell off. Okay, go ahead.
So TCU, their coach, that was his first year last year.
He won the award too.
I mean, he was 13-1. And one of the things Coach Sanders, because I did a little research, he said he really loves TCU. He knows that this staff is going to be very well prepared. So it's going to be a great challenge for them to show up and see where they are, because this is the type of team that's going to show you you're not that good, or you might be a little bit better than you thought. What people are thinking.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it can work in one or two ways, and then I'll move on to the next game. Meaning, the transfer portal can be a tremendous asset for you, or it could be a tremendous detriment, right?
Yeah.
You've seen teams that have jumped into the transfer portal, i.e. Nebraska. They jumped in the transfer portal, didn't, thought they did well, and
you need to call drop. You need to call drop.
Didn't do well. So, but then you had a Mel Tucker situation where they jumped into the transfer portal and did absolutely well. So it can go one of two ways. It's just so hard to gel. Get guys to get on one accord coming out of
That's not a good long-term fix. We saw that with Michigan State, right? It worked for 1 year, and the next year, if you don't have that development going, it could be tough. It can hurt you real quick the next year.
Exactly. Sure. That is something to consider. But we're going to move on, and one that can be a testy little game. You have an ACC team and an SEC team.
If it happens, because it's in Orlando.
Well, that's definitely one.
Yeah.
And there's another one that is very similar, but we can talk about that one. We're going to talk about the Florida State game against the LSU Tigers. That is a definitely top 25 matchup that's going to be jumping off.
That's like 6 against 7.
You know what I mean? So that's probably one of the most prominent games, but we have a hurricane. Shout out to all of those that are bearing the brunt of it right now. It is happening down there. It is it is kind of retwisting out there in the Gulf again. So we don't know where it's going to hit or where it's going to land, but be safe out there. If you have to do any evacuations, we do care and love you here. Prayers going out. So you do have that game. LSU, a lot of pundits are saying they are probably one of the strongest teams in the SEC right now.
Absolutely.
Some are very high on LSU, but then there's a lot that are high and believe that actually Florida State can actually win the ACC and make a run at the championship.
Right.
So with that question, it's a 2-part question to you, class, and then I'll let you address it. One of the questions is, how do you view the game in itself between the two in the matchup? But 2, how do you view Florida State's chances of getting into the college playoffs but with that, getting into the playoff games, they got to get through Clemson. They've got to win out. Or do you think there's going to be 2 Big Ten and 2 SEC schools that are fighting it out, which puts you in place for the big boys of the Big Ten and the SEC, showing you what it's going to look like in the next probably few years before they expand?
Well, let me address this LSU Florida State game. So last year, these 2 teams played, and I don't think the expectation was there for these teams because Brian Kelly, that was his first year coming from Notre Dame. And then you have Mike Norvell, who just kind of is still.
He was teetering on the hot seat.
He was
on the hot seat.
That's a good reminder.
Yeah.
But he got them flowing.
Yeah.
And this game was close last year, 24-23. It was a thriller in Manila. And this year, the expectation level for both of these teams is very high.
It's a positioning move for them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like, where we going to end up?
Yes. LSU, they won the SEC West last year unexpectedly. Nobody thought that LSU was going to win. But Brian Kelly just really kind of showing you how good of a football coach he is. I mean, to go from Notre Dame to LSU and to get these guys in a position to damn near win the SEC, I mean, that's a big deal. Florida State has a lot back. I mean, they got the quarterback back. Jordan Travis is his name.
That's
He's got all of his top receivers back. Johnny Wilson, who's a top target. They're looking at him as a potential first rounder. So, I mean, like, he's got some huge both of these teams have a lot back. And like I said, the expectation level is very high. But again, like I mentioned just earlier, the loser don't really lose if they play real well. Because at the end of the season, like you talked about, one of these teams can still be positioned, or both of them still can be positioned to get into that college football playoff.
And the thing about it, I don't think a 10-2 Big 12 has a chance. I don't think an 11-1 Big 12 over a 11-1 Big 10 or SEC school gets in. I think it's gonna be kind of close. I think that pushes them out. I definitely know that an 11-1 ACC school doesn't get in. So this is where I think it depends on which Big 12 school I think could possibly break through. It's going to depend on who they've played, and I think that's going to be a huge factor in it. It's going to be tight. If there's an 11-1, so in essence, if let me give you a scenario, and then we're going to go to a break, and we'll come back. In essence, Michigan beats Ohio State. I say keep your eyes on Penn State. I think Penn State has an opportunity or a chance to beat Michigan. I think their defense is gotten better. I think Aller is a little bit different, and I think they've got a few weapons that could challenge Michigan. Now, I'm saying if Penn State happens to clip Michigan, and they're both 11 with where they're sitting, and they're both 11-1, I think both of them get in before a Big 12 school. That's 11-1.
Ooh,
I think it does. I think it does. And here's why.
I'm not ready to
I'm a controversial guy, but here's why. I think it then presses the button for why the expansion is necessary. You know what I mean? I think it sets the tone for the conversations all through, the off season as to why this is important to make this expansion the way that it
goes on every year. They just need to do it, Harrison.
Yeah,
they need to do it.
I mean, it gets confusing because, like, you look at the playoffs last year, you see TCU beat Michigan, so that right there is like, okay, well, what's the Big Ten? And then TCU gets smacked, not even close. One of the worst college football championships I've ever seen.
It was ugly.
Yeah, so this conference, I don't know how you evaluate it because we've seen some pretty garbage playoffs year after year. So they have to expand it for sure.
So when we come back, I would like to address the expectation level of what's going to happen here in Lincoln. What do we expect based on the play? I mean, do we have time to dive into that, or are we going to break it?
Oh, we got time. We got time. We got about a minute here. Otherwise, we can hit on the next segment.
Okay.
So let's just go ahead and just preface it. I think there are high expectations for Minnesota, and we can dig into why. I think there's high expectations. I think Minnesota may surprise you because they've been with Ibrahim, they've been very run heavy and dominant. And so there's some things that I think they're going to do that's going to be different. And I think the expectations for Nebraska should stay in the fronts, meaning in the trenches. Where Nebraska is going to have success for me is going to be in the trenches. If their expectation is not high and they don't execute in the trenches, I don't think they have a chance for a successful season. And we'll talk about kind of what is a successful season to you as well. But go ahead before we take this break. What's your initial just preface?
Well, since you addressed it on the Gopher side of things, I'm going to address it on the Nebraska side of things. It's been a long time since there has been a feeling of hope, because in Scott Frost's tenure, what was he here? 4 years, 5 years, 4 years?
I think 5.
2018. So it was 4.5.
Yeah.
Or 5.
Every year he got off to a bad start. You know, like last
first
year,
game.
the first game. So will we get off to one of those starts where the crowd is excited, or is it going to be, oh man, here we go again? You know, that's what I'm looking for. Is there going to be hope in the game, or is there going to be a sense of, here we go. That avalanche is coming down the hill, and we're in for a long one again. I would love to. I'll touch into that a little bit more. We can get the psyche of the fan, the psyche of the fan, because the big thing that's left here, and I'm not sure if it'll ever be touched, but if it ever gets to the point that the fans are just like have lost hope, that sellout streak, you know, that sellout streak is definitely on the line, where people are going, am I going to continue to pay my hard-earned money and never get back to
in a tight economy too,
respectability? Because I start to hear that. I don't know. I'm sure you guys have heard this.
Well, you've already seen the shuffling of the tickets, meaning that there are definitely games, or there are different, like, people just like, oh, I have these tickets, but do you want to go? You're seeing that part of the shift now.
I'll say this much, and why what you're saying is important. When I was in the student section, got there in 2018, Scott Frost era, what people were talking about was not Nebraska football players who were looking at it was just a joke. It's like it was funny to watch Scott Frost. Yeah. Like, how are we going to lose this one? It was almost laughable. That was the vibe of the student section. That's not what you want. That's not what you want out of your fans.
So I'm going to go back to it. This first game is going to kick things off psychologically, where the fan is going to say, I'm going to invest because I like what I'm seeing. I think we're on the right track. And I think we have something. You know, I think we have something. But right now, this for the first time, I'm hearing people going, I'm not drinking it until I see it.
That part. Right? I said that on the show myself.
So, I mean, when you got famous commentators like E. Streezy,
you crazy,
saying these things, like
I said it literally
because the media sometimes can set the tone. The media can set the tone to the people, right? And whatever you say, they start to go, oh,
I need to see it.
That's right. I need to see it too.
There's a song out. Let me see it. Let me see it. Hey, but we gotta take a break right now. We talk facts. We gotta get out of here. We'll be talking about that kind of seed.
Agriculture is the economic engine of the Midwest. At Acres Equipment, we dedicate ourselves to making that engine run smoothly. We supply our farmers and ranchers with quality John Deere equipment, parts, and service. We also deliver the most advanced technology and precision ag strategies to help them farm today and for the future. Acres Equipment, solutions for every field.
Ladies and gentlemen, it has come to the attention of the Nebraska Lottery that when people hear a radio commercial in their car for one of our lotto games, Powerball, Mega Millions, or Lucky for Life, they tend to begin daydreaming about how they'll spend the prize money if they win, instead of paying attention to the road. So please, when I tell you that Nebraska Lottery Lotto games offer big money and big fun? Keep your mind on driving. Do not start thinking about all the things you could buy if you win. Things like bright red sports cars, tropical vacations, 100-inch TVs, hot tubs, SUVs, a new computer, motorboats.
Bob, snap out of it.
Oh, good heavens. Ladies and gentlemen, my apologies. Perhaps I should go home now.
You better let me drive.
Lotto games from the Nebraska Lottery. Top prize odds vary by game.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now they've raised wages again and they're hiring for production operators at $24.11 per hour, which grows to $28.27 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $32.76 per hour with opportunities to make more based on certifications. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates with increased bonuses and vacation for new hires. To learn more or to apply, go to continental-jobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
Hi, everyone. Kendall Warnock, A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. Spring is here. Summer is fast approaching. With weddings, vacations, and weekend getaways on your mind, do not let car issues prevent you from getting where you need to be. Car problems shouldn't be something that you put up with. Let us get you back on the road in comfort and safety. We diagnose all makes and models from Porsches to Hondas, Toyotas, and Chevrolets. We fix a variety of issues with all of them with our talented techs and our experienced staff. A1 Automotive at 11th and L, downtown Lincoln, always honest answers.
Steve's Garage Doors and Services is hiring. They are looking for a garage door installation and service technician with a clean driving record. Experience is not required as they will train for the positions. However, mechanical aptitude is required. If you want to come be a part of a small business where you're family, not just an employee, call Steve's Garage Doors and Services today to apply at 402-480-2840. That's 402-480-2840. Steve's Garage Doors and Services.
This Easter, focus on your family instead of dishes with the Venue Easter to-go meals. Prepared fresh in house by our chefs, these meals are ready to heat and eat with packages for 2 to 3 people or 6 to 8 and your choice of juicy beef tenderloin, tasty herb roasted chicken, or our famous 6-pepper crusted prime rib. All meal packages come with sides and we have additional add-ons available to complete your feast. Order today at venuedelivered.com/Easter. That's venuedelivered.com/Easter.
Spring sports are here and it's time to upgrade your equipment. But don't go rushing to your big box store. Play It Again Sports is your place to go for all spring sports equipment for baseball, softball, golf, and disc golf. Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And don't forget, buying from them is a great way to get new products with great discounts by also bringing in your used items for store credit or cash on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Back to We Talk Facts on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here are your hosts, Strickland Clester.
Yes. WTF, We Talk Facts. We're here on a Tuesday. Harrison is on the board. Clester Johnson, my partner in crime. And drop a dime for us and finish up your take on that.
You know, I want to say this.
We're talking, well, right now, we're just if you're just now tuning in on the stream, we're talking about Nebraska and Minnesota. You're talking about the Nebraska side, and I gave my little take on the Minnesota side. That's where, if you need to go back, catch it on the app, theticketfm.com. You can go back and rewind or go to YouTube and rewind.
You know, I think we do a bad job of thanking the fans, thanking people for listening.
Oh, yeah,
to
we appreciate
us.
you.
If you're out there, you're listening, I'm going to tell you another bad job we do. Sometimes people will text stuff in or send us little messages. We want to get a little bit better at that. So while we're talking, we're going to really try to read. If things come through, there's different questions that's come through. Please, if you got any questions, you got any things you want to say to us, something you want us to talk about.
Or topics.
Yeah, just
you
text,
can email Strick
email it
at estrickland@theticketfm.com.
What about the Starter Heyman text line? Is that up?
Yep, absolutely. Starter Heyman text line still, as always, 402-464-5685. You can engage in the show that way. And as always, a great way to put a face to the voice. Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Allo, Channel 951. And again, you comment on all those streams as well. Great way to engage in the show.
Yes. Now, what we left off on is, can we see it? Okay, so let's rewind.
Are you sure about that?
Let's rewind.
I want to know. I need to see it.
What we're going to see is last year, Minnesota 2022, they were 9-4.
Mm-hmm.
They're on a 2-game winning streak.
Mm-hmm.
And Coach PJ Fleck has had a lot of success against Nebraska.
What do you mean by that? How good has he done against Nebraska?
I mean, he's been 5-1.
Oh gosh.
And that's pretty good. Now, he's been 5-1 mainly against Coach Frost, but we have a new rule going on, right? You know that?
I see you. I see you.
Metaphorically,
I got that.
And I think Coach Rule can really go up and set the tone by going up there and potentially knocking them off. Now, here's where I think Nebraska can potentially have a chance, because they don't really, Coach Rule is somewhat new, and he's had stints at Temple, Baylor. He was coach of the year of the Big 12, 11-3 Baylor team, went to the championship of the Big 12, and left, went pro for a while. And as a coach like this, have made various stops, I believe that you get better. He's had highs and he has lows, and I think what I'm looking at in the positives for him is he's probably learned a lot more about himself. He can probably look back and say, here's what I was successful doing. Here's what I'm not good at. I'm going to stick to what I'm good at, and I'm going to go hard at that. Mm-hmm. One thing I do know about Coach Rule is my son had him again at the Senior Bowl, and my son said he was rough. Even at those Senior Bowl practices, he was not a nice guy. And I really think we need.
I think we do.
We need that.
I think that is a necessary thing. Here, the turnover battle. I think they have to be able to create. That is one thing that was so frustrating last year. Watching that team, they had no mentality about that. They didn't know how to attack the ball inside out or get in and do punch outs. Yeah. You know what I mean? They didn't know. It was just let me just get this guy to the ground. There was no action to try to create opportunities for the offense to be able to have success. So I think they have to win that battle. They're harping really big on, because Sims that's one of the areas that he was very deficient at. Mm-hmm. So teams are going to try to mass coverages. Teams are going to try to figure out a way to have him to think they're going to do something and try to jump it. Like, for example, there's a coverage where they're off. Looks like maybe a cover 2. And a cover 2 is two cornerbacks, 2 over the top safeties. It looks like it's going to be a zone. They come up, press, leverage. They leverage outside a little bit, making it think that we're not letting you go fly. Right. We're going to force you into slants. And then they're going to fake a blitz and drop. That's just an example. They'll flake an outside linebacker blitz, drop him into that slant zone and try to confuse him. I think they're going to do things like that's just one example. There's a whole bunch of different things they could do, but I think they're going to try to find ways to confuse him. He's got to be able to be on top of things. He's got to be able to get off the first. Okay, I see you pop off. What's my next? He's got to be able to make those transitions pretty quickly in order to have success. I think that's where it's got to happen. They can't let Sims get pressured like freaking Casey Thompson did last year. That's just crazy. That cannot happen. I think draws, I think delays, and I think screens to try to help slow it down, because they're going to try to pressure, blitz, and do all kinds of crazy things, I think, to put pressure on Jeff Sims.
What I'm looking for, is leadership. Okay. Mm-hmm. Not only from, obviously the head coach is your leader, but I heard my brother Vashawn Jackson the other day talking about the coaches can't play the game. Mm-hmm. we got to have a player or players who can rally the troops. So, for instance, we all know what Coach Frost's record was in one-score games. I just really feel like in those moments, you got to bring everybody together on the sideline.
Somebody
right?
make a freaking play.
Right? No,
Mhm. We make a play.
the offense, I don't know who it is. Somebody on offense say, hey, listen, this is our moment. This is our moment to break out of the chains of what's been happening. Okay. And so, therefore, throwing interceptions, fumbling the ball, dropping passes, we got to have an extra sensitive height of awareness of these things right now in this moment. But it really starts in practice, though. It starts in practice. You have to try to put yourself in those moments in practice. And I want to see that guy on offense and defense, or if it's just one guy that, you know, if Coach Rule can get these guys where it's coming down to the last,
That's the best place you could be on the
minutes
road.
of the game, that they can methodically figure things out without shooting themselves in the foot.
I agree. I think the defense is going to be challenged. One of the things I'm hoping to see is pressure. We have not seen pressure off the edge or up the middle in a long time. I can't even tell you the last time that we've had guys that were able to.
It would have been Randy Gregory.
Randy Gregory was
would have
probably the last
seriously
one
been the last one.
Right. So
that's a long time.
That's a long
That's a long time.
So we look at that. One thing that this, I believe, keep an eye out for, that this Minnesota team is going to do differently, and this is why you saw the retention and the retainment of their tight end that is looking to go to the next level or didn't transfer, is because they're going to use their tight ends more than they probably ever have. They're going to try to stretch you vertically more than they ever have. Bell is coming back. They've got guys that they came out of the transfer portal that can blow the top off. They're going to stretch you more vertically than they have, I think, in the past, because were so reliant on the play action and so reliant on the on the running back situation. But then the quarterback now did us dirt. He's the reason why we lost the game last year. There's going to be a lot more RPOs, to the point where Tanner didn't run. You know, you knew he was either handing the ball up or he was passing it.
Still killed us.
Yeah. But at the, I think that's going to be a difference, because now they're going to have a three-way option because he can actually run the ball. So just keep an eye. I think it's going to be it's going to be a great test for us.
One of the things I wanted to throw in there was this. It's going to be interesting to see what Minnesota does with this new kind of more dynamic quarterback, because traditionally what they've been doing is shortening games. They have that stretch play with Ibrahim with a big line where nobody's touching him until he's about 5 yards down the field.
Yeah.
And then once he's so little, you know, all their running backs kind of
Like
fit
a
a
running
mold.
ball.
They fit a mold. So they kind of get in there, and then all of a sudden they pop out, and then they pick up 7-8 yards on every play. So they have a huge, massive line. I know that's one of Coach I can't think of his name.
Satterfield or White?
Fleck?
White
Fleck,
for us?
Fleck.
Mhm.
I know Coach Fleck, one of his mainstays have just been a big line.
He'll put a jumbo package out there.
Man,
he did that
they
against
have big
Nebraska.
lines.
He'll put big line out
And
there.
and if that's working, man, he reminds me of Coach Osborne. Listen, if you can't stop a dive or a stretch, believe me, it's coming. I mean,
Can't stop, won't stop.
It's gonna keep coming until you figure it out.
Mhm.
And then all of a sudden they're gonna hit you with a stretch, reverse out, hit the tight end on the other side, a stretch pass because you're worried about it. Then you're gonna commit other guys to fly up. That's what I'm afraid of. So that front line is gonna have to do a good job of being able to contain that running game.
Oh, that's a good breakdown of what is to come for the college football week 1. Is this considered week 0 or week 0?
No, this is week 1.
This is week 1.
Yeah, week 0 was last week.
That's
San Jose State, USC.
Yeah. So this is a breakdown for that. We'll come back and talk a little bit. I want to get into what's about to happen on tomorrow in Memorial Stadium. the women's volleyball team is about to break a record. I believe they're going to get it done. I just know the Husker fans that they're going to show up. But there's something to it because there's a little piece that I want to speak about because they have a picture that if you take a page and just duplicate that picture, you possibly have a winning recipe that I think other Husker programs can take advantage of. We'll talk about it briefly when we get back right after this.
Tailored Landscapes is actively preparing for spring. Things like getting new tree orders, getting equipment ready, and training staff to serve you the best we can. If you haven't already planned, now is the perfect time to figure out a maintenance plan for your yard. We're on the brink of spring cleanups for all of our existing customers and have limited spots left. We trim trees and shrubs when needed and only mulch proper amounts. Give us a call today at 402-432-2572 to set up a meeting with one of our designers and get ready for Tailored Life's grand opening in Bennett.
You know that feeling after a good, hearty meal? Worries of the world just slip away. Time slows down. Nothing but good times and good company. That's what you get with Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. Mary Ellen's does food right with a menu that includes smoked wings, pulled pork, brisket, catfish. And don't sleep on their sides. Shrimp and grits, collard greens, baked beans. It's food that makes your heart happy. Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul, just east of 27th and Pine Lane. Let them fix you a plate.
Hey there.
Hi, honey.
Uh-oh.
Remember we told Jamie and Mike about Liberty First Credit Union, how great their checking account and car loans are, the amazing service we get, and how we love being members?
Yeah.
Well, they took our advice. Jamie said how easy it was to move all their accounts and become members. Now they say they're banking with purpose at Liberty First Credit Union.
Learn more about being a member at libertyfirstcu.com. Liberty First Credit Union. Banking with purpose. Member NCUA.
There's a lot of realtors in Lincoln, but don't get overwhelmed by all the names. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realtor Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate is your go-to option when buying or selling residential and commercial property. Ben's team offers unbeatable customer service and promises to make the buying and selling process as stress-free as possible. Call Ben today at 402-419-6309 for all your real estate needs. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate. No pressure, just professionalism.
Problem gambling affects more than the gambler. It affects spouses, children, extended family members, and friends. If you are a loved one who's struggling with addiction, contact Choices Treatment Center's helpline at 402-476-2300. That's 476-2300.
At first, I was really nervous and intimidated to buy a ring. I wasn't sure what I was getting into.
My experience at Starter Heyman was very easy. I felt like I walked out of Starter Heyman with the ring that was going to make her go wow and say yes.
I love my ring. It is so beautiful.
I absolutely love my ring. I get compliments on it all the time. I always tell them Starter Heyman.
Yeah, we would definitely recommend Starter Heyman.
Yeah, it was great.
We're definitely coming back.
Sure.
Sauter Heyman Jewelers, Lincoln and Grand Island. SauterHeyman.com.
Hi, it's Charlie Stone again, and with me on the line, Andy Goodyear, General Manager of Honda of Lincoln. Andy, I know how proud you and everyone at the dealership are to earn the prestigious Honda President's Award year after year, 17 times. Tell our listeners what it means to you and your customers.
Thanks, Charlie. Yeah, all of us are extremely proud to have earned this award, and I want all of our customers to know it's not just earned by one person's efforts. It's the entire dealership. Sales, parts, and our amazing service department.
17 times. Wow. How does that compare to other Honda dealers?
This award is only given to the most elite dealerships that demonstrate excellence. We really do strive to go above and beyond for the ultimate customer experience before and after the sale, Charlie.
That's why for 2022, Honda of Lincoln is once again Nebraska's #1 volume Honda dealer. Come experience the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business, 27th and Yankee Hill Road, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
Experience the Landmark difference with the next level of dealer support. Landmark, your local John Deere dealer, continually works to have parts on hand the first time you walk in the door. Our internal route system means we can get the parts to you typically same or next day to keep you up and running. At Landmark, we understand time is money. Get more uptime with our after-hours parts and service support on the phone or in the field. Our sales, precision ag, parts, and service teams are ready to serve you this planning season. Stop by your local Landmark today to experience the Landmark difference.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Dana Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Dana Trucking. Learn more and apply today at danatrucking.com.
Tailored Landscapes is actively preparing for spring. Things like getting new tree orders, getting equipment ready, and training staff to serve you the best we can. If you haven't already planned, now is the perfect time to figure out a maintenance plan for your yard. We're on the brink of spring cleanups for all of our existing customers and have limited spots left. We trim trees and shrubs when needed and only mulch proper amounts. Give us a call today at 402-432-2572 to set up a meeting with one of our designers and get ready for Tailored Life's grand opening in Bennett.
Back to We Talk Facts on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here are your hosts, Strick and Clester.
We have a little short segment here, but there's something that kind of came into the news, hit X and other places, Clester. We kind of talked about it a little bit, just the lack of excitement. There's a couple people that have done some tremendous things. Simone Biles just did it again. Coming off of injury, mental, whatever stuff she was dealing with, wins the all-around again. Like, does it.
Right.
Like, her stuff is on that level. The reemergence of Sha'Carri Richardson, who was, at a valley low, comes in 8th place, in one of her return races, comes back and wins it, the 100. Yeah. Comes in second in the 200. Great stuff. But then Noah Lyles.
The 4x1.
Yeah, and won the 4x1, beat the Jamaicans, and anchored it.
Right.
Noah Lyles did something that no American sprinter has done, and that is do the double, the 1-200. He's laid down the gauntlet. He says, we're out here fighting. We're real world champions. But I'm paraphrasing. I didn't get the direct quote, but in essence, that's what he's saying.
Right.
He says, why y'all NBA people saying y'all world champions? And why y'all, baseball and all of this saying that you're world champions? I thought that was an interesting thing to drop because I understand why he did it. I think a lot of it has to do with guys like Dennis Rodman, guys that are tremendous, like, Usain Bolt. They do certain things to put themselves in a category where the eyes are on them.
Yeah. When
the eyes right now should be on like a Noah Lyles and the stuff that he's doing and accomplished. So he talked about the world championship systems. We had a good discussion about that, but what's your initial take?
I was very excited about watching the World Track Championship because if you didn't know this, Harrison, I'm going to tell you, I was a track star in high school. I was a hurdler. I was a 2-time hurdle champion. So I love watching track. I don't think it probably gets the love until maybe the Olympics.
Yeah.
The Olympics is obviously a really big deal, but the Worlds is obviously like the second biggest event in track. But he made some very interesting comments that really made people get in their feelings. I saw that, and he has a point. But I'm just not sure if he said it right. Right.
It was kind of in a condescending way. Tone, would you say?
Yeah. Well, yes.
It came off that way.
But also came off like braggadocious or you haven't done what I've done. Right. And, for guys who have built themselves up to become the top of their sport, that's the last thing they want to hear, especially for some young He's
still in his
guys.
20s.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of NBA players are. But I'm sure there are some older guys like LeBron or Chris Paul that maybe would look at that and be like, "Man, come on,"
Yeah.
But
Like even the USA World Team is not getting the same,
right.
That same flow.
But I heard a counter argument to what he said is the fact that most basketball players professionally worldwide want to come to the NBA. So I heard that there are 150, and don't quote me on this, but I heard there was 150 different ethnicities in the NBA. So, I mean, technically, if you want to get technical about it, it is considered the world because a lot of the world's best are playing in the NBA, but you're not.
So I would say
yourself against other countries.
I would say I would agree with you. I think the NBA probably fits that where you could probably say. I even think NHL probably fits that where you can say that because a lot of international players that play hockey
in that league
come this way.
Yeah, we get a lot of great Russian.
Yes.
I'm blanking on the names, but they just go back home.
Yes.
But they still play in the NHL.
Exactly, right? So I think you can say that. Where I would find it interesting before we get out of here for today is I think you would love to see it at baseball.
Yeah.
Where they have the World Series. We had an interesting discussion where I thought this was dope, and we're going to leave it here, but I thought this was dope, and I'm going to throw it to you. They had the World Series where, say, the Yankees and the Texas Rangers are playing, and the Yankees win. The Yankees would have to play the winner of. They would play a tournament
Japan
against all the professional leagues. And at the end of the day, see who's really the world champion.
That's not a walk in the park.
No, sir.
That's not a walk in the park.
No, sir.
So you got, teams like Cuba,
Dominican Republic,
some of those Dominican
Japan, Korea
are very good.
Absolutely
They're very good.
Absolutely.
They just don't have the same sort of resources, but they got the athleticism and they got the players.
I thought that would be kind of interesting if that could be put together.
Yeah, doesn't Asia have a really big baseball market?
Yes.
I want to say that's growing. Like, isn't there a huge fan?
And see, they are like a lot of them don't come over here because they're like
they got leagues over there.
They're like the gods over there. And they making paper.
Well,
like they making money.
You see how Keisei Tamanaga is getting treated?
Oh gosh.
Yeah, he's a superstar.
Yeah.
But here's what's interesting to me for basketball. I heard there are some basketball players now starting to just kind of stay
over there
where they are.
Yeah.
And the first Dream Team showed us how far apart the world was for basketball. It has definitely, the gap has been closed, right? So I'm just curious. If we got the best NBA players like we do in the Olympics, and we play, the teams on a year-to-year basis, would we still win it? Will we win it like regularly? That's just how much I feel like the world is caught up in basketball. So
good stuff today. Thank you guys once again for taking the list.
Next week, though, this is good.
Break it down.
Next week.
Break it down.
Next week, the subject is going to be something very interesting that the volleyball team has done to have continued their success.
Yes, we're going to break that out.
Other sports
could mirror and take a blueprint from.
Yes.
We're going to break that down. We're going to talk about that. Shout out to the ladies. Big time. If you didn't get a ticket, if it's not fully sold out, go get you one. Blow the doors off the record. WTF, we're out of here and until next Tuesday. Clester, Harrison, we're out of here. Peace.
We're gone.